we had a huge piece of news. CPI data get released, and it shows inflation in the US has dropped to the lowest level we have seen in over 2 years, going all the way back to 2021. Headline inflation, overall inflation, went down by 0.9%, which is huge. But what actually went down? Because it still seems like everything is very expensive. All right, so looking at this, let me remove my camera. I have it broken down for you guys, or not me, but at least the U.S. Whatever this Bureau of Labor Statistics did. If you look at this, food is still up. Food actually went up in May, which is not good. Energy, however, went down huge. The overall category for energy went down about 11.7%. This is year over year. Went down 3.6% month to month. Okay. And then you have energy commodities. Gasoline went down. Fuel oil went down 7.7% for the month. Overall, year to year, 37% down. That's great. That's great for energy, for gas, for fuel. But what about everything else? Energy services, still higher year over year, although for the month of May, we went down a little bit. All items, less food and energy went down 2.6% right here. Overall, year to year, not minus 11%. That sounds great. And then finally, we had used cars come down year to year 4.2%, although for the month, it's still elevated at positive 4.4%. So looking at this, food is still higher month to month. Cars are still higher month to month. Apparel, meaning clothes, is still higher month to month. Medical care services still higher. Shelter, transportation services. I mean, basically all the things that you measure outside of gas still went up. I mean, they're still higher. This is the reason why, if you look at core inflation, why it's still higher than CPI is because it subtracts off energy. So that's why there's a big difference there, right? But overall, we'll take the win, okay? Meaning that inflation is coming down. That all those crazy rate hikes that we have seen over the past year has started to work. Here's the thing. Look at China. China is now considering a broad stimulus package with rate cuts because it seems like they have gone too far. Seems like their economy is just not doing as well, right? So this is what we don't want to do in the U.S. We don't want to go too far and needing to print more money with more stimulus, right? It seems like we had enough. I saw this too. Bitcoin, you would think that 2023, has not been a good year, okay? But many people forget that at the beginning of the year, Bitcoin was still at 16,000. Actually, 15,000. That was the low. So this is actually kind of shocking. 48,000 new Bitcoin millionaires. 48,000, almost 50,000 new Bitcoin millionaires created in 2023 alone. Now, how did this person come up with this? Well, if you look at the rich list and you look at addresses, okay, there's a lot. There's about 7 million addresses holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin. Only 2 million over 10,000. Then you have 317,000 that's holding above 100,000. And then you have 70,000 holding above 1 million. And then you only have 5,000 holding above 10 million. Those are the whales, right? But that 1 million address count went up by 50,000 versus 2022 numbers. That's a big jump. So first of all, a lot of people probably took advantage when things were lower, right? But also, mostly I think it's just due to people DCAing. This is also fantastic. This is just looking at this moving average, the EMA 20 on the weekly scale. Okay, whenever Bitcoin breaks above and retouches, well, then good things happen, right? Look at what happened in 2017 and look at what happened in 2021. Both times, Bitcoin broke above this 20 EMA and then touched upon it, utilized it as a support, and then boom, started heading higher. One time it went up 3,100%, another time went up 618%. And guess what we just did? We broke above and we have retouched it once again. And of course, fundamentals like illiquid supply, which is basically Bitcoins that have been taken off the exchanges and held and not moved, okay, for a long time. Liquid supply continues to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. That's fantastic. The more that gets taken out of the circulation, the better it is. More buy pressure, basically, or more price action. Yeah, good stuff. And then I saw this. You know, most of us are trying to get away from the dollar or treasury bills, but so many people around the world love it, right? So this is interesting that there will be tokenized U.S. treasury bills, okay, and this will be released in the Philippines, Indonesia, India, and Vietnam for other countries that really want to buy U.S. dollars because their currencies are even more risky, right? It's interesting that, you know, so tokenization could really happen to anything. Okay, it could happen to real estate, it can happen to bills, trusts. You can now tokenize treasury bills. This will be never allowed by the SEC in the U.S., but in other countries, it is being allowed, right? And there's funds also that's being tokenized. I mean, there's so much that you can do, right? As long as there's motivation and no regulatory concerns, I guess, right? And then lastly, I don't think anyone really uses eToro, but unfortunately eToro is following Robinhood and just taking a knee without even being asked. So eToro is delisting 4 cryptocurrencies that were deemed securities recently, and they include Algorand, Decentraland, Dash, and Polygon. Okay, basically, no good. Robinhood, eToro, I don't know who else. I mean, these are all platforms that also trade stocks. So I guess they're really afraid that if they don't comply, they're going to get their brokerage license revoked too. I don't know if that's the case, but, you know, it's sad that they're not standing up to the SEC like Coinbase and Binance both are, right? It kind of sucks. All right, that is pretty much it. Overall today, looking